for Miles, and he's going to show us his scrap deck. So,
alright. Starting off, we got 3 Scrap Chimera. This is like the backbone of the deck. You need to play 3. He's like a Debris Dragon, but for Scrap, so you make your Scrap Dragon really easily. 3 Scrap Beast. Scrap Beast is a 4-star tuner, so when you special summon with Scrap Chimera, that's how you make your 8 stars. And he's just really good because he has an effect where if he's destroyed by a Scrap card, then you get to add a Scrap monster from your graveyard back to your hand. So using that effect, you get to destroy him with Scrap effects a lot, and you get to add Chimera back to your hand, and you get to keep making Scrap Dragons. 3 Scrap Goblin. He has the same effect as Scrap Beast, where if he's destroyed by a Scrap effect, he gets to bring a guy back to your hand. But he also can't be destroyed by battle, which is very useful in slowing down the game. Next up is 2 Gatekeeper Spy. They help for Synchro fodder. A first turn set Spy, it gives you a +1 when they flip it, and then you can Synchro for Arcanite with a Goblin, or you can Synchro for Scrap Beast with a, or Synchro for Scrap Dragon with a Scrap Beast. Next up is 1 Golem. Once per turn, I can select the level 4 or lower Scrap monster in my graveyard and special summon to either side of the field. So I can special a Goblin to my side and make a Scrap Dragon. I can special summon a Beast to my side and make a Twin Dragon. Or I can special summon a Goblin to my opponent's side, and because it has 0 attack and can't be destroyed by battle, I just get to attack it with as many monsters as I can and try and go for game that way. 1 Summoner Monk. I play a 4-star tuner, Scrap Beast, so he makes easy 8-star synchros like Scrap Dragon. This entire deck just focuses around getting out Scrap Dragon. 1 Morphic Jar. I only play 15 monsters, so he seems kind of like a necessity. He replenishes my hand when I set good back rows, and most people don't see it coming in this format because Heavy Storm's gone, and because I bluff with Goblins and Spies. Like, I have plenty of other sets, so it's good. And then 1 Spirit Reaper. Scrap Dragon's usually pretty good at clearing monsters off the board, so Spirit Reaper can knock in directly for a good number of cards out of hand, as I did against him. But he also helps bait out Book of Moon, because if they have a clear field, you just go attack with Spirit Reaper. If they have a Book of Moon, they pretty much have to activate it. And Book of Moon is one of the biggest things that stops synchros, and since this deck is about getting out Scrap Dragon, you need to get those out of the way.
Nice deck.
Yeah, I don't know how to play it.
Next up is 3 Scrap Storm. This lets you send a Scrap monster. You select a face-up Scrap monster you control first. Then you send a Scrap monster from your deck to your graveyard. Then you draw a card, and then you destroy the monster you selected. And this is like the huge combo of the deck, because what you do is, say you have a Beast on the field. You activate Scrap Storm. You target your Beast. You send a Chimera to the graveyard. You draw a card, and then you destroy Beast. And because Beast was destroyed by a Scrap effect, you got to add a Chimera back to your hand, which is the one that you just sent, which is where all the deck's plays come from. And it's a quick play spell card, so you get to chain it to things like Bottomless and Dimensional Prison and Mirror Force and Dark Hole, so you get a lot of card advantage like that. Next up is 3 Book of Moon. Very important for stopping synchros, considering Brionac is one of the biggest threats to this deck, because returning Scrap Dragons to hand mean they don't get to their revival effect. So Book of Moon is very important in doing that. It's also a spell card which you can Bishop Summon on, and it's honestly just a very good card in this format in general. Next up is 2 Scrapyard. This lets me search my deck for a Scrap Tuner, and which is very important obviously for searching out Beast and Goblin, and because I have such a low monster count, I really need the extra pulls. Next up is 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. Gravekeepers is one of my worst matchups if I don't have these, so I really need to keep the Necro values off the board. Also, it's chainable, so if I have it set and I target it with Scrap Dragon's effect, I can chain it and take out 2 of your cards instead of just one with Scrap Dragon. 1 Giant Trunade. This deck makes a lot of big plays breaking out Scrap Dragon, and you need to make sure it comes out safely. So Giant Trunade clears out their back row. Heart of Duality. Again, the low monster count means you need to search your deck a little bit faster, so that gives you a little bit of utility. Mind Control. You do play a lot of tuners, so it helps you take your opponent's non-tuners and make a decent number of synchros. Also, mind controlling when you already have a Scrap Dragon on board, you can destroy their monster and then destroy their card, giving you a +1. Cold Wave, same thing as Trunade, you need to make your big plays. Monster Reborn, that's obvious, same thing with Dark Hole. Next traps, 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. I don't have Warning, I don't like Warning in scraps personally. I just don't think we need that much aggression. But Bottomless does well against Blackwings, which is another one of our bad matchups, and it also does pretty good against Gravekeepers. I mean, it does what Solemn Warning does against our bad matchups without having to pay the life point cost. So that's why I prefer Bottomless. Next up is 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device. This pretty much seals the deal against Sabers. There's not much they can do when you keep putting their Dark Souls back in their hand or their Embers Blaze back in their hand. It's also very good against Plant Synchro, and like Mammoth T, it's chainable. So if you have it set, you target with Scrap Dragon, target their back row, flip it, and you bounce their monster back to their hand. 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Call of the Haunted, 1 Dust Tornado. Again, just hitting out back row, and it's chainable, so you can get pluses with Scrap Dragon. 1-7 tools. I was playing Trapstone for a while, and I just tried this out today. It's been doing pretty well. Solemn Warning hurts a lot when they Solemn Warning a Chimera. So having this to be able to negate that helps. Also, stopping Solemn Judgment. I mean, just the huge life point difference can give you a very big edge, and a decent protection. And you don't have to worry about counter attacks from stopping your plays. And then 1 Solemn Judgment, which is the same thing as 7 tool, that just makes sure that your plays go through, which is essentially the same thing as Trinity Gold.
Would you ever run more than 1 pot of duality in the deck?
I might run 2, but I really don't think it's necessary. Like, you're gonna get a little bit more speed, and a little bit more consistency, but I think that what you're gonna take out is gonna be less important than actually adding other duality.
Okay.
I might take out a Scrapyard for a second duality, but that's about the only thing. If you have 2 duality, that's what I'd recommend. As for my side deck, I side deck 1 Chimera Tech when I side in Cyber Dragons. 2 Breaker. Again, Gravekeepers, I've had a pretty decent problem with them, but as long as you come prepared for the GK matchup, you really shouldn't have a problem. And 2 Breaker really helped me solidify that matchup today. 2 Noblemen of Crossout. Again, Gravekeepers, Plant Synchro, Sabers. It's just a very good card in this format. 2 Enemy Controller. The reason I side deck these in is for extra protection, because I do side deck 3 Royal Decree. This is really, really good against Blackwings and Sabers and even Gravekeepers, because it just shuts down the traps. Gravekeepers you can pretty much play around because you have enough ways in your deck to get out Scrap Dragon, even with Necro Valley on the field. For example, Summoner Monk, for example, Gravekeeper Spy, for example, Golem, if you already have like a Goblin set on board. Like, just having the guys already on field, you can make a Scrap Dragon, and Scrap Dragon can destroy Necro Valley. The only problem is that they have a lot of traps to stop you from doing that, so 3 Decrees really actually helps against Gravekeepers. And obviously Blackwings, they play a lot of traps as well. Next, 2 Thunder King Ryo. I've sided in against a lot of things. Plant Synchro because it stops their Synchros. Blackwing, the same thing. Sabers, even Gravekeepers because they play Potter Duality and Recruiters. I mean, it's just a really good card in this format to side against almost everything. 2 Cyber Dragons. Big beaters, and I like to use it to bait out the back row in game 2. The reason I don't main deck this, it is a very good card for scraps, and I do like people who main it, but I don't, because once you get Scrap Dragon on board, he sits dead in hand. Scrap Dragon has a very good recycling effect, where if he dies, you get a special summon more guys from your graveyard. So game 1, you have a very good presence of keeping a Scrap Dragon on board. Game 2 is when they side in things that help keep it off board, so you get the clear field to bring out Cyber Dragon and then make another one, so you have more ways to bring it out. And last but not least, 1 DD Crow for, things that focus on the gradient.
Alright.
So yeah, that's my Scrap deck. I'm X2 today. Going into the final round, then we'll see how that goes, but I've got other credentials besides that.
Yeah,
check out my channel, and thanks, man.
Definitely subscribe. Thanks, man.